welcome to episode 6 of Callum the Biologist with me, Callum, a National 5 biologist in the Highlands of Scotland. In today's episode, we're going to be speaking all about the coronavirus and the transmission and the biological aspects of that. Just as a little disclaimer before we start, this video and the content included in this video is not taken from any National 5 site. It has been it is spoken to at a National 5 level, speaking about RNA, etc., but it has nothing to do with the National 5 biology curriculum. So this is just an extra video, as all the material I'll be doing isn't just National 5 material. I'm just the National 5 biologist. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So in this video, I think it's very important to be speaking all about how coronavirus can be impacted and how everybody can feel different about it. We're going to speak all about, first of all, SARS. So SARS is the virus. SARS was created way back when there was a previous virus outbreak. So SARS-CoV-2 is the virus, whereas COVID-19 is the disease that is linked to this virus. It is very important to know the different aspects of that, as not many people know this, and I feel like it's something that should be spoken about a lot more. So SARS-CoV-2, which you might see in the news about the SARS vaccine, and COVID-19 is the disease. So how did this all come about? So in December 2019, in Wuhan in China, a new virus had broken out. This new virus caused respiratory issues, and it was identified to be rapidly spread to many other countries around the world. By the 1st of December 2020, 2,643,086 people had tested positive for coronavirus, and 59,051 people had died within this time period of 28 days after contracting COVID-19 and testing positive in the United Kingdom. So due to this, a lot of different safety measures have been put in place. But it is very important to notice the symptoms of being positive for COVID. So 1 in every 6 people who gets COVID-19 became critically ill. And some people are what we call asymptomatic, and some people are symptomatic. And we're going to start speaking about that in the next couple of slides. So the symptoms of COVID-19 is a high temperature, a new and continuous dry cough, so it would have been there for a prolonged period of time, a loss or change of smell, and a change or loss of taste. Other symptoms include being lethargic and fatigued. There is a shortness of breath. You may experience headaches and sore throats. Your muscles may be aching, and you may have diarrhea or vomiting. It's an unheard of one. It is quite rare in COVID cases, but due to all the overwhelmed pressure you may feel and all the organs trying to work up, trying to fight this virus, you can actually faint and pass out from this virus. So it's very important to just make yourself known of that. So I just spoke about asymptomatic and symptomatic people. So people who experience these symptoms that are on the screen and that I've already spoken about, they are symptomatic. They are experiencing the side effects of this virus. If you're asymptomatic, you're positive for coronavirus hypothetically, but you do not have any of these symptoms, the 4 on the screen or the 8 that we've spoken about. So the government has put out guidance and measures to control the spread of this virus. So the protocols that have been put in place is the usage of face coverings in public spaces, on public transport, and where the below measure about social distancing is not manageable. And social distancing should be 2 meters apart in communal areas, apart from when the use of face coverings are worn, where it is a 1 meter distance that you should apply. Hand sanitizer points have been introduced into public spaces such as entrance to supermarkets, schools, and takeaway outlets. Obviously, many other people and their businesses have adapted to this new regime, and they have got them scattered about the place as well. And most people nowadays have got their own personalised little bottles, or one that just stays in the car after you've been to Asda's. Um, so hand sanitizer and hand washing for 20 seconds is such a vital part of coronavirus. Travel restrictions, there has been a 5 mile radius that's been restricted unless the travel out with this restriction is for end of life care or other essential purposes. And in this case, it must be you must have authority to do so. And non-essential shops and outlets have been shut, and only those within necessities are left open. So takeaways, I know that First Minister Nicola Sturgeon is going to be making a little announcement about that at the start of next week, the week beginning the 11th of January. And so supermarkets such as Asda's and Morrison's and Tesco, Lidl and Aldi, Sainsbury's, they have been left open as they sell food and essential items to basically keep you alive. So, a few things that we need to know then. This pandemic continues to cause millions of cases and over 1 million deaths across the globe. A vaccine has been created to prevent COVID-19, and the only way to control this pandemic is by the use of this vaccine. So we have got the BioNTech Pfizer, the Oxford AstraZeneca, and the Moderna the vaccine. So I've not added the Moderna one to this because I actually forgot. But this vaccine is likely to be available by spring. The UK government have ordered over 17 million doses of this vaccine. So with 3 vaccines, the 2 outlined on the screen and the one that I've just mentioned, I think that's going to be our number one lifesaver, to be honest with you. I definitely certainly do. So scientists and researchers across the globe have worked to develop these vaccines and have been tested. The vaccine should only be received by those who need it the most first before it is rolled out to the others. So those who are under the vulnerable or the shielding category should be receiving the vaccine first, just as they're more of a high risk. So just let's have a little chinwag about viruses. So SARS-CoV-2, so coronavirus, is an RNA virus, and viruses cannot replicate themselves, but they rely on something to replicate it, and that is contained within the host cell. So viruses don't replicate themselves, they rely on something else that is found in the host cell to replicate the virus. So the structure of coronavirus. Now, I do apologise about this diagram being quite minuscule on the screen. What I will do is I will pinpoint to what I'm speaking about in the 5 bullet points there on the map if it needs a little bit of self-explanatoriness, even though that is not a word, but we'll go with it. So, the key parts of the coronavirus is the RNA and spike protein. So, the RNA and the spike protein. The RNA is this little bit here, and that is just inside here. And you can see this is a label diagram, which is a biologist's favourite thing to see than a labeled bit of science. So the RNA is surrounded by something that is called an envelope, but it's obviously not a physical paper envelope, which has different roles in the life cycle of the virus. So the envelope is the third one from the bottom, and it is, as you can see, it is just this little red bit that is circulating the screen. So the spike proteins are anchored in the viral envelope and form a crown-like shape. So that's this little purple bit up the top, the spike proteins here, and you can see that because it's labeled by a little S. The RNA is inside the envelope and acts as a template so that once it is inside the whole cell, that the coronavirus can replicate itself and be released into the body. The spike protein at the top and the RNA at the bottom have been used to develop and make a vaccine to protect against coronavirus. So how does this virus transmit? So in order for the transmission of COVID-19 to occur, the virus needs to be transported to a vulnerable person. In order for this to happen, the virus needs to have somewhere to exit. So something that's living and producing. It needs to have a way of transmitting, such as coughing and sneezing, and it needs to have somewhere to arrive, so inside the human body, or the mammal body. Coronavirus spreads from person to person through small drops from the nose or mouth, which is expelled when a person has COVID-19. The coughs, sneezes, and speaks in a closed area. That's how it gets transmitted. So these droplets that come from the human body live on surface objects such as the table, banisters, and doorknobs. People can be exposed and catch coronavirus if they breathe in these droplets from the infected person, or by touching the contaminated surface and then touching their eye or their nose or other parts of their body, which can inhale the droplets. So let's take a look at the chain of infection then. So it starts off with the pathogen. So up at the top right is the germs. This is the pathogen agent in this case. And that is the bacteria or the virus or the parasite. And that goes to the reservoir where germs live. So this is inside people, the animals, pets or dogs or cats or reptiles, wild animals, so lions and tigers and things that you'd find in a wildlife park, for example, food, your soil in the ground, or water. So they need, in order to get out of there, something called a portal of exit. And this is how the germs get out. So this can be from the mouth, so you can be sick, or saliva. It can be cut in the skin, so your blood in a little laceration, or it can be during going to the toilet or having a pee or a poo. So they need a mode of transmission. So this is how the germs get around. So this is contact, physical contact, such as touching with hands, toys, or sand. So main things that you touch is also through droplets. So when you speak to other people, when you sneeze or you cough, obviously these millions of droplets are coming out of your mouth. And in another video, we are going to be speaking a little bit about this. So they then need a portal of entry, and this is how the germs get in. So this can be through the mouth, cuts in the skin, and the eyes. And then they go to the susceptible host, and this is the sick person or the person in the family who's vulnerable. So this could be the babies, young children, the elderly, people with a weakened immune system, people who are how do you say that word? Unimmunized, that's it. And basically just anybody in general. Throughout this pandemic, it was people who are in the high risk category, people who have been shielding and who are resumed to shielding in this second lockdown period. So I hope this diagram was interesting. I quite liked how it was phrased, and if this was beneficial with the pictures and the text and the easy terms, I think things like this really do help me. So I know that the germs is obviously at a national 5 level, the pathogen agent for that. So let me know if you want any more diagrams in future videos like this. So we're going to speak a little bit about the strains of coronavirus. So at the moment, it's tricky to say how many strands we have got due to the virus suppressing more and more. At the moment, research believes that there are 7 strands of coronavirus. These 7 variants actually are made up of 15% of the common cold. So at some point in your life, you would have had coronavirus due to this. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Callum the Biologist with me, Callum, a biologist in the National in the Highlands of Scotland. I hope you found this episode interesting. If you want to see more episodes about coronavirus and we can speak more about myths and a little bit more of the biology about it, let me know in the comments down below and ask me a few questions that I could research into and find the answers for you. I do appreciate this has been about a 15-minute video. So thank you very much if you've been able to stick around and watch it all. I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate everybody who watches the videos. The next episode is going to all be about genetic engineering, and that video is the second last piece of information about in Unit 1 of the National 5 course. So we're going to take a look at that, and then the final thing we'll look at for Unit 1 is going to be about respiration. Then we're going to take a break from the N5 course, and we're going to find some other bio aspects about questions that you might find on the neurons, if you like. And then after a couple of weeks, we're going to go back to the SQA curriculum, and we're going to have a look at the National 5 Unit 3, and that's going to be all about photosynthesis. After we've covered the photosynthesis and the ecosystems and the life on Earth topic, we will look at Unit 2, which is multicellular organisms. So thank you for watching, take care, stay safe, and I will see you in the next episode of Callum the Biologist.